Get ready for an adventure across space and time. Do you remember Lost in Space, the Robinson family, the loyal robot, and the cunning Dr. Smith? Today, we're heading back to 1965 to rediscover the classic sci-fi adventure series that once captivated the entire world. What happened to the main cast after that journey through outer space? From their early career days and iconic roles to their present lives, everything will be revealed. Fasten your seatbelt power up the Jupiter 2 and step into a journey filled with nostalgia and surprises. Number 1, we have Mark Goddard, who played Major Don West, a brave pilot with a square jaw, ever-alert eyes, and the demeanor of a man of action, someone who often served as the voice of reason aboard the Jupiter. 2, as well as a reliable pillar in the most dangerous situations. It was precisely this calmness and strength that made Don West one of the most memorable masculine figures in Lost in Space. Mark Goddard was 29 years old when the series first aired in 1965. He appeared throughout all 84 episodes from 1965 to 1968, becoming an indispensable part of the main cast. Before Lost in Space, Mark was not yet an A-list star, and the show became the biggest stepping stone that brought him to television audiences. However, when the series shifted from serious science fiction to a more campy comedic tone in later seasons, his character was gradually pushed to the sidelines, a change that Mark himself did not hide his disappointment about. But what surprised many people most was his life after the spotlight. As his acting career began to slow down in the early 1980s, Mark Goddard made an unexpected choice. He completely left Hollywood to become a special education teacher in Massachusetts. Behind all the fame, he found true meaning in helping students who needed special care, a quiet yet deeply humane journey. He was married 3 times, wrote a memoir about his time on Lost in Space, and spent his later years living peacefully with his family. Mark Goddard passed away on October 10, 2023, at the age of 87. Don West may have been a fearless pilot in the vastness of space, but Mark's most profound legacy remained on Earth in the lives he quietly touched. Number 2, we have Bill Mumy, who played Will Robinson, the precocious boy genius with curious eyes and an unlimited spirit of adventure, the emotional center of the Robinson family. Bill Mumy, who was only 11 at the time, brought to Will a vibrant energy both adorable and unsettling, in a way audiences could never forget. Danger will reban. Robot's famous warning has been etched into the memories of generations thanks to the vivid interaction between Will and his mechanical companion. Bill appeared in all 84 episodes, turning the 9-year-old character on screen into a childhood icon for millions of viewers. Before joining Lost in Space, Bill had already made a strong impression with 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone especially. It's a Good Life, where he portrayed a boy with godlike powers, leaving audiences both terrified and amazed. Lost in Space was not the only peak of Bill's career, but it was a crucial stepping stone that helped him expand his path in acting and the arts, from Disney films like Rascal 1969 and Bless the Beasts and Children 1971, to the rock comedy duo Barnes and Barnes, with the hit song Fish Heads. Notably, Bill avoided the common pitfalls of child stardom. He led a stable life, married Eileen in the 1980s, and had 2 children, including Liliana Mumy, who also became an actress. Beyond the screen, Bill is a multi-talented artist maintaining a long-lasting friendship with Jonathan Harris, until Harris passed away in 2002. As of 2026, Bill is 72 years old, still creating and staying involved in music acting and artistic projects, leaving behind an enduring legacy of a screen prodigy who grew into a multi-dimensional and gifted individual. Number 3, we have Marta Kristen, who played Judy Robinson, the lively eldest daughter of the Robinson family, someone who always radiated warmth while also showing remarkable resilience. In the eyes of the audience, she was a symbol of gentleness, yet always ready to face danger. and her romantic relationship with Major Don West was something viewers could never forget. Marta Kristen was only 20 years old at the time, stepping into Lost in Space in 1965 and appearing in all 84 episodes of the series. Before playing Judy, Marta was not truly famous, having only appeared in one episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but Lost in Space became the stepping stone that brought her name to the public. However, when the show shifted from serious science fiction to more comedic storylines, Judy's character gradually faded, often reduced to worried expressions or completely absent, leaving Marta. Kristen disappointed, as she had hoped for greater opportunities. After the show ended in 1968, Marta continued acting occasionally, worked as a model, and became an author, but never found another breakthrough role. Her personal life has also remained quite private. Marta married and divorced twice and kept her distance from the public eye. As of 2026, she is 81 years old and lives a quiet, low-key life, finding contentment in her private world. Number 4. Angela Cartwright, who played Penny Robinson. Penny has an incredibly sensitive heart. She always sees the world with curiosity and a rare sense of compassion, especially her gentle connection with extraterrestrial creatures, which makes this character stand out. Angela Cartwright was only 12 years old when Lost in Space premiered in 1965, yet she appeared in all 84 episodes, becoming an indispensable part of the journey aboard the Jupiter 2. Unlike many of her co-stars, Angela was already a familiar face known for her role in the series Make Room for Daddy, and especially the legendary film The Sound of Music 1965, where she played Brigitta, one of the Von Trapp daughters. But behind the image of a dreamy little girl on screen was a very different coming-of-age journey. When Lost in Space ended in 1968, Angela continued acting for a short time before gradually turning toward visual arts. What still surprises many people is that she left the Hollywood spotlight to pursue photography and became a professional artist, creating works rich with personal identity. In her personal life, Angela has had a remarkably stable life. She has been married to Steve Gullion since 1976, a relationship spanning nearly half a century, and they have 2 children. She has also maintained a friendship of more than 50 years with her co-star Bill Mumy, a bond that has lasted since their filming days. As of 2026, Angela is 73 years old, living a peaceful and creative life, as if the Penny Robinson of years ago has grown up still holding on to her curiosity, but transforming it into art. Number 5. Robot character. The robot in Lost in Space is not just a talking machine, but a vivid symbol of loyalty. But behind that heavy metallic exterior was Bob May, the man who breathed life into every movement of the character. He was 31 years old when the series began, in 1965, appearing throughout all 84 episodes as the performer inside the robot suit, weighing over 90 kilograms, a role that required incredible endurance and patience. Before Lost in Space, Bob May had already worked as a stuntman and came from an entertainment family, but it was the robot role that became the biggest mark of his career. However, the sad truth is that he was rarely given the recognition he deserved, as audiences often confused his physical performance with the voice provided by Dick Tufeld. Behind it all were long hours of filming under hot studio lights, the bulky costume that made it nearly impossible for him to move freely, even requiring assistance just to put it on and take it off. After the show ended in 1968, Bob faced a quiet reality. His contributions gradually faded into obscurity. He spent many years attending fan events, persistently sharing his story and seeking recognition. Sadly, Bob May passed away on January 18, 2009, at the age of 69 due to heart failure. The robot was programmed to protect humans, but it was Bob May who made the silent sacrifice to create a legend. Number 6. Bob May delivered an outstanding performance in every gesture and movement of the robot. However, the urgent voice that rang out, Danger Will Robinson, was truly the soul of the robot. a sound that was both a warning and carried a strange personality, making the character more vivid than ever. That voice belonged to Dick Tufeld, the man behind this iconic sound. He was 40 years old when Lost in Space premiered in 1965, and he remained involved throughout the 1965 to 1968 run, appearing in all 84 episodes alongside Bob May, not only as the voice actor, but also as the narrator for many episodes. Before joining Lost in Space, Dick was already a seasoned figure in radio and television, with decades of experience in voice acting. His role in the series was not a beginning, but rather a pinnacle that helped shape his career legacy. What surprised many people was how his choice of rhythm tone and emphasis transformed a lifeless machine into a character with emotions sometimes humorous, sometimes anxious, but always memorable. After the series ended, Dick continued a steady voice acting career working on documentaries and commercials, while also reprising the robot's voice in the 1998 film version as a bridge between two generations. However, behind that familiar voice was a rather private life, with little desire for publicity. Sadly, Dick Tufeld passed away on January 22, 2012 at the age of 85. The robot may have been made of metal and wires, but it was Dick's voice that made it immortal in the memories of millions of viewers. Number 7 is Irwin Allen. Irwin Allen did not appear on screen, but he was the brain behind the entire world of Lost in Space. The man who created a universe where the Robinson family drifted among the stars, both fantastical and full of danger. With the demeanor of an ambitious creator, he brought to the series an energy that was both serious science fiction and richly cinematic drama. In 1965, when Lost in Space premiered, Irwin Allen was 49 years old, directly creating and producing all 84 episodes from 1965 to 1968, controlling nearly every aspect of the show. Before that, he had already made a name for himself with Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Lost in Space was not only a step forward, but also a springboard that propelled him into becoming one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood. However, what continues to spark debate is his decision to change the direction of the series. From a serious science fiction story in the first season, he shifted to a more campy comedic style starting in season 2 to compete with Batman. This decision helped the show attract a younger audience, but at the same time left many cast members disappointed, feeling that the original spirit had been lost. After Lost in Space ended, Irwin Allen went on to create blockbuster disaster films such as The Poseidon Adventure and The Towering Inferno, shaping an entire genre of cinema. However, behind that success was a strong personality, sometimes so rigid that it became controversial. He always wanted complete control, even rejecting ideas for cast reunions. Sadly, Irwin Allen passed away on November 2, 1991, at the age of 75, due to a heart attack. He created extraordinary worlds, but also left behind a complex legacy where talent and ego always went hand in hand. Number 8. Kurt Russell. The lost teenager Quano in the episode The Challenge appears only briefly, but brings a very different energy, both confused and defiant, like a small piece reflecting the danger of the universe that the Robinson family is facing. That was Kurt Russell, just 15 years old at the time, appearing in a 1966 episode of Lost in Space during the period when the series began shifting more toward a younger audience. Although his appearance was short, this role was part of his early journey on television when he was already a contract actor for Disney and beginning to gain experience. Unlike many of his co-stars, Kurt didn't need Lost in Space to get his start. It was merely a small stepping stone in a career that was already taking shape. But no one could have predicted that the teenager would later become one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. After his years working with Disney, Kurt gradually transitioned into more mature roles, breaking out in the 1970s and 80s with films like Escape from New York and The Thing, solidifying his status as an action star. Behind the spotlight was a surprisingly stable personal life, he has been in a long-term relationship with actress Goldie Hawn for over 40 years without marrying, a choice that has surprised many. As of 2026, Kurt Russell is 75 years old and continues to appear regularly on screen, serving as a vivid reminder that sometimes the smallest roles can be the beginning of a great legend. Number 9. Professor John Robinson. Professor John Robinson is the steadfast pillar of the Robinson family, a calm and rational scientist who always keeps his composure amid the dangers of space and the image of an ideal father whom audiences completely trust. Guy Williams brought to this character a presence that was both authoritative and warm, making him the emotional center of the Jupiter 2 spacecraft. When Lost in Space premiered in 1965, Guy was 41 years old and appeared in all 84 episodes, guiding the story from beginning to end. Before that, he had already been a major star with the legendary role of Zorro. So Lost in Space was not a beginning, but another peak in his career. However, as the series gradually shifted toward a lighter, more humorous tone, his role, as well as those of several co-stars, was reduced, which left him understandably disappointed. After the show ended in 1968, Guy struggled to regain his position in Hollywood, despite once being a familiar face. What continues to surprise many is how early he stepped away from the spotlight. Thanks to smart investments, Guy retired in 1973 and moved to Argentina, where his portrayal of Zorro was especially beloved. He lived quietly in Buenos Aires, distanced from much of his family and the industry that had once made his name. Sadly, Guy Williams passed away in 1989 at the age of 65 due to a brain aneurysm and was not even discovered immediately, a lonely passing that left many with a deep sense of sorrow. Professor Robinson always kept his family safe, but in real life, Guy Williams closed his journey in silence, leaving behind a legacy that is both brilliant and bittersweet. Number 10. Jonathan Harris, who played Dr. Zachary Smith, the scheming troublemaker of Lost in Space, a character who was both irritating and indispensable, constantly causing chaos, yet making audiences laugh with his flamboyance and charming cowardice. Jonathan Harris turned Smith into the unpredictable soul of the series, a villain no one truly wanted to get rid of. When he joined in 1965, he was already 51 years old and appeared in nearly all 83 episodes, even though the character wasn't present in the original pilot episode. Before Lost in Space, Jonathan had already been a seasoned actor on stage and television, but it was the role of Smith that brought him to the peak of his career. What still surprises many is that the character was originally written as a serious villain and was expected to be written out early. But no one could have predicted that Jonathan himself would rewrite much of the dialogue, adding satirical humor, and from that point on, Smith became the most beloved character. Behind the spotlight was a man deeply devoted to his audience. He answered hundreds of fan letters every month and maintained a strong marriage for 64 years with Gertrude Bregman. Sadly, Jonathan Harris passed away on November 3, 2002, just 3 days before his 88th birthday. Dr. Smith may have been a coward on screen, but in real life, Jonathan Harris left a lasting legacy, a character that audiences still cannot forget to this day. Number 11. June Lockhart, as Dr. Maureen Robinson, the emotional anchor of the Robinson family, a gentle yet resilient mother who always kept everything from drifting off course amid the chaos of the universe. With the calmness and intellect of a biochemist, she not only cared for her family, but also served as their emotional support in the most dangerous moments. June Lockhart brought a unique warmth to the character, making Maureen an ideal mother figure on the small screen. When Lost in Space premiered in 1965, June was 40 years old and appeared in all 84 episodes, becoming one of the central faces throughout the entire series. Before that, she had already been a television icon with her role as the mother in Lassie. So Lost in Space was not a stepping stone, but a continuation of her firmly established place in the hearts of audiences. But what surprised many was that despite her fame, June maintained a very down-to-earth image behind the scenes. She even drove her vintage fire truck to the set, as a way of preserving her individuality amid the glitz of Hollywood. After the series ended in 1968, she continued working steadily for decades, rarely stepping away from the screen. Behind all of this was a strong and enduring family life. She had 2 daughters, including actress Anne Lockhart. June Lockhart passed away at the age of 100 on October 23rd last year, a gentle departure that left a profound void. Maureen Robinson kept her on-screen family together, while June Lockhart in real life became a symbol of a golden era, resilient, warm, and almost irreplaceable. Number 12. Fritz Feld as Mr. Zumdish. Mr. Zumdish appears as an eccentric gentleman with a half-elegant, half-quirky demeanor, a fleeting supporting character, yet memorable thanks to his uniquely charming presence amid the chaotic world of Lost in Space. Fritz Feld brings a classic European flavor to the role with his slow, deliberate way of speaking and refined poise, making the character stand out despite his brief appearance. When he joined the series in 1966, Fritz was already over 65 years old and appeared in only 3 early episodes, but his extensive acting experience allowed him to command every moment on screen with ease. Before that, Fritz Feld had already been a familiar face in Hollywood since the 1930s, often portraying foreign gentlemen with a distinctive acting style, including his habit of lightly tapping his cheek, while thinking a trademark that audiences never forgot. Behind the spotlight was a rather private life, free of scandals and noise, something that still surprises many in a constantly turbulent Hollywood. Fritz continued acting into his later years, maintaining a rare level of consistency. He passed away in 1993, at the age of 93, leaving behind a quiet yet enduring legacy. Number 13. Sheila Allen as Aunt Gamma. A mysterious older woman who carries a feeling that is both familiar and unsettling. A character that leaves the audience unable to predict what will happen next. Sheila Allen infused this role with a strange energy, blending outward gentleness with a deeply hidden eccentricity, making Aunt Gamma, despite appearing in only 1 episode, leave a distinct mark on the Robinson family's journey. When she joined Lost in Space in 1966, Sheila was 37 and appeared in only 3 episodes, but that was enough to showcase the depth of her acting. Before that, she was not a big name, but she had experience performing on television and stage, often taking on supporting roles with unique personalities. Lost in Space, therefore, was not a major turning point, but rather a stop along her steady professional journey. However, what still draws attention is that her life was connected to a more famous name. Sheila Allen was the wife of renowned producer and screenwriter Irwin Allen, the man behind Lost in Space itself. This connection adds an interesting behind-the-scenes layer of meaning to her appearance in the show. After the series, Sheila continued to participate in several other projects produced by her husband, but in general she maintained a rather private life, staying away from the spotlight. Sadly, Sheila Allen passed away in 2013 at the age of 84. Aunt Gamma may have been only a fleeting character, but behind her was the image of a quiet actress, someone who made a small, yet memorable contribution to a science fiction world that has become legendary. Number 14. We have Albert Salmi, who played Captain Alonzo P. Tucker, a tough commander carrying a military presence and the decisiveness of a seasoned man, a character who made the atmosphere tense the moment he stepped in. Albert Salmi brought a rugged depth to the role with piercing eyes and a commanding voice, making Tucker not just a guest character, but a memorable highlight in Lost in Space. When he joined the series around 1966, Albert was 39 years old and appeared in only 2 episodes. Before that, he had built a solid foundation on the Broadway stage and quickly transitioned into film and television with a series of impressive supporting roles. But behind that strong image was a personal life full of turbulence. He met actress Peggy Ann Garner in 1955 while touring the play Bus Stop, and they married just a year later. They had one daughter, Catherine Ann Cass Salmi, born in 1957. A quiet and heartbreaking loss would come later when she passed away from heart disease in 1995 at the age of 38. The first marriage ended in 1963. A year later, Salmi remarried. Roberta Pollock. Taper had two more daughters and moved to Spokane, Washington in 1983, where he gradually stepped away from Hollywood taught acting and participated in local theater. However, everything collapsed in 1990 when his second marriage fell apart, amid tension with allegations of alcoholism and violence. No one could have predicted the tragic end. On April 23, 1990, at the age of 62, Albert Salmi shot and killed his estranged wife before taking his own life. The inscription on his gravestone reads, "Our beloved father," a haunting ending to a life both talented and tragic. Number 15. We have Vitina Marcus, who played Athena, the Green Lady, appearing as a seductive and dangerous illusion, an alien woman so infatuated with Dr. Smith that she was willing to push the Jupiter too into peril. Her cold beauty and mesmerizing gaze made this character one of the strangest and most memorable images in Lost in Space. Vitina Marcus brought to Athena a very distinctive allure, both dreamy and unsettling. She appeared in 2 episodes around 1966 in her mid-20s during the peak of her on-screen career. Few people know that before that, Vitina was a student of the legendary acting teacher Lee Strasberg, and she built a solid foundation through numerous film and television roles. She appeared in Never Love a Stranger, 1958, under the name Dolores Vitina, and also took part in The Lost World, 1960, by Irwin Allen himself, as well as Taras Bulba, 1962. On television, she consistently appeared in popular series such as Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, The Time Tunnel, Gunsmoke, and The Man from UNCLE, a career that, while not flashy, was steady and enduring. However, what still surprises many is that Vitina left Hollywood in the late 1960s. Behind that spotlight was a very different choice. She moved to Las Vegas, obtained a real estate license in 1986, and worked under the name Vitina Graham for decades. She has 2 children, including her daughter Athena Kiki Marcus Calhoun, who was honored as the most beautiful dancer in the world in 1987. She is now 89 years old, enjoying a happy retirement surrounded by her loved ones. And that is the journey of Lost in Space. An adventure that not only took place beyond outer space, but also continued through the years in the hearts of fans. Which character impressed you the most? Whose life surprised you the most? Leave a comment below to share and discuss together. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more fascinating stories about other classic films. And now, thank you for being with us, and see you again on the next journeys.